Hi and welcome. This next story is from a subscriber. I would like to share her experience. With that, I asked if you have a story of your own to share. In description below are links. Your story will be anonymous and be respected. Thank you for all the support. Enjoy watching. Hi Spooky Mystery. I have a story to share as well. I will try to keep it short. Mine is different, not just your typical ghost story, about meeting a real witch, or more an encounter with a real witch. But before I give you my experience, I first have to apologize to anyone that I would offend. I know these days are different, what we know about witches. You can find them all over TikTok and other media sites. There is nothing wrong with that. What we have learned about witches in our history and Halloween, then we all know. Been different is not a bad thing. I really wished I could have shared this with you during Halloween, but I think my story is a bit weird. I would you to share it with everyone. So if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, then you know how our upbringing is different from today. Watching horrors in a neighbor's basement or a friend's house was normal. I have seen them all, from Chucky to Nightmare on Elm Street and so on. What I know about witches was all from Hollywood movies. They scary and dangerous. Did I have imagination when I was 9 or 10 years old? Yes. But what we experienced that night so long ago was real, and not a nightmare I had from a movie I have watched, but real experience with my brother and sister and my mother that night. We lived in a small area not very far from the city. My dad was working night shifts and worked long hours. Both me and my brother and sister were always alone with my mother, of course. There was crime, so the worries was always there. But my mom made friends with a lady not far from us. Her husband worked also night shifts with my dad. She lived 5 houses from us. So most nights after my dad had dinner with us before leaving for work, we would wash up and walk to my mom's friend's house, spend time with the kids there and walked back home. My mom would call her so she knows we have arrived home and safe. It wasn't a dangerous neighborhood, just precautions my dad wanted us to take. There was very little crime in a small town, but we had to make sure we safe too. We had my aunt living in the 1-bedroom flat on our property. She moved in a short while before the night we encountered the witch. So my aunt was new to the neighborhood. She was divorced and kept things to herself. So we were not too alone. My aunt was there too. But some nights she would go out. Our routine was as normal: wash dishes, switched off the lights, lock up, and then walk to my mom's friend's house. But we would always check in with my aunt, letting her know we will be at the neighbor's house. Mobile phones was too expensive and not everyone had one. It was the 90s. So for my aunt to get hold of us, she had to get into our house and call the neighbor's house. This one night, my aunt waited for us. Usually she would be fast asleep by the time we get back. But this particular night, she wasn't. Soon as we walked up the driveway, she yelled at us to hurry. We entered her flat and she was terrified of something. "Hurry," she said, "there is someone in your house." My mum smirks and said there is no one in the house, she locked it up. My aunt said she saw the light on, and though we got home early, but didn't think much of it. She said, but the noises and banging that came from inside the house concerning her, she looked out the window. The bangs got louder and she could hear glass breaking. She was worried for my mom, thinking something is wrong. She went to the back door to investigate and see if she could help, but noticed the door is still locked. She then went to the front door, and it's locked. The house is now dark and quiet. That's when my aunt started to get scared. What if someone broke into my mom's house? The only phone is inside the house. She panicked and run back to the flat and waited. By then, my mom looked scared. We were scared too. We ended up running to our neighbor's house and called the police from there. They found our house in a mess, like someone was looking for something. Nothing was stolen, no money was taken, or my mom's jewelry. It was strange, very strange. My dad had to come home and we all were shocked. Of course, weeks later, and the police had no leads. It was just strange, all doors locked and no windows was broken. I am sure the police, though, we did it, or my aunt. So a couple of months went by, when one night when I was fast asleep, I woke up after falling asleep on the couch. We would sometimes watch movies and sometimes fall asleep on the couch. A noise outside the living room window woke me up. My brother was asleep on the couch too. My mom had blankets put on us before she went to bed. Noticed my brother didn't hear the knocking and noises. I thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. There was a big old tree in front of the window, and on a full moon the shadows from the tree would scare me. I was only young back then. But I was closing my eyes. I just glared at the window when a shadow of a hand and long nails in the window. I got scared but couldn't move, thinking May it's just the tree. But then a full body appears, a woman's with long hair. Her shadow follows on the curtains and then on the wall. Then her long nails searching the window. I managed to scream out to my parents. It woke my brother up. He was older, so he was good at calming me down. My parents didn't believe me, and I stopped sleeping in the living room. But sometimes I do fall asleep during a movie. If I wake up, I would just go back to my room. One night we were at my mom's friend's house when a phone call from my aunt. This time she ran to the next door neighbor's house. The police was called again. Again, the house was destroyed. Here is the scary part. During that time, there was an increase of stories of witches in that town. Even in some abandoned houses, the police wad called out to. They found candles, pentagram, and sometimes found sacrificed cats and dogs. It was all over town. One story that scared everyone in town was when a fresh newborn baby's body was found in an abandoned house outside the town. Witchcraft evidence was found in that house, so you could imagine the fear. This time, the police took it serious when they found our house messed up with locked doors and windows. This time, it has happened to others too. We don't understand why these witches break into homes or got in the houses and mess it up. What were they looking for? Now, we don't always go out every night, and most night we hear a lot of noises outside, and sometime we wake up from a sound of someone trying to break in. My aunt moved out after she met someone, and she had enough after the last encounter. It wasn't over for us. On this particular night, the moon was full. We didn't think much of it. We got home, and Mum stopped dead in her tracks as soon as we approached the gate. Of course, my mom's reaction made me jumped. That's when she said to my brother, "Someone is in our house." The lights was on in my bedroom, and we could see a shadow of someone moving back and forth in front of the window. At that point, we were getting ready to turn around to call the police. That when things gets weird and scary, all of a sudden, the person stood at the window looking right at us. You can see her old ugly face and long black hair. We were frozen fear. I was holding on to my mum. That's when she disappeared. My light was still on, yes. She disappeared in a blink of an eye in front of us. We hear a cackling and rustling in the bush in the backyard. Behind our home is the woods, but we have neighbors on both sides. That's where she went. We went inside and only found my room messed up. But the weird thing is, there's weird writing on my walls and symbols. It terrified us. In blood on the walls, it said, "Give her to me, or you all will die." We left and stayed the night with my mum's friend. The blood was animal blood from the cat that was found at our back door. It was confirmed that it is possible witchcraft. We moved away. We never encountered the witch again, but we were all traumatized. Some believed us and others didn't. I had many nightmares in counseling. I am a grown-up now and many years later. But I can tell you, so many bad luck has followed my family. Are we cursed because of that witch? Was I a target of a sacrifice? I had so many questions. I don't talk much about that night or the experience. No one would believe me anyway. Things are different now. Is witches real? Real nasty ones? I believe it. Are you? Hi. If you got this far, I want to personally thank you. Thank you for the support and just watching my stories. I also want to thank you to the 2 ladies that have personally sent me their stories. Please do share your story. In description below is my details to share. I want to address that I have had some comments that my videos are goofy and stupid. One comment that I will never get anywhere with my channel. Comments like that doesn't bother me. I will keep my appearance hidden for harassment and other reasons. I don't do these stories for any reason other than I super enjoyed horrors and scary stories. I use different apps and editing tools that cost and out of my own pocket. I enjoy making these videos, bringing stories to life. Of course, one day I would like to make them more realistic and movie-like, but for now, I will continue to do these type. Comment below if you like the short or long videos. I will do my best to upload 1 video a week. My goal is to upload 2 a week. It really depends on the story. I hope you enjoy this story. If you do, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.